quite some time since I did a book review video. It's been, I think, over a month. So I have lots I want to talk about today. I want to kind of get through like all of the stuff that's been building up over here, waiting to get on a video. So it's going to be a little bit longer of a video, depending on how long it goes. I may split it into two. We'll see. Could just be one. I guess you'll know as you're watching this if it's one or two. So, and then after this, we'll go back to the one a week, just looking at what I've read that week. So, we're going to start with something that's a bit more spicy than the regular Harlequin romances that I read. This is Last Kiss. It's the third book in a series. The series is called the Hitman novels. They're romance, but they're very as what TikTok would call spicy romance. Because like even Harlequin these days kind of like mellows things out, whereas this does not. It's what I like to refer to as an airport trash novel. I know there's one person watching this video who will get that reference. If you do as well, go ahead and comment down in the comment section. Let me know if you get that. But it's one of those books that it's a bit cheesy and you get like eye rolls at times, but it's actually entertaining to read. They're fun. There's lots of kind of like my brain stopped working for a second. So essentially, the leading man is an assassin, a hitman for the Russian mob, essentially, and each one of the guys in this series kind of has that kind of profession at the start of the books, and so we get like that side of it as well as them meeting their soulmates. I don't know why I put that in quotes, but it kind of felt like it needed to be. But if you like trashy romances, that it's just fun, guilty pleasure, and just entertaining, then go ahead and check these out. The first book in the series is this one, The Last Hit. You don't necessarily have to read them in order, but you should because there are some things that are related to like the first book and the second book and going into the third book. So this is the first one. So I say definitely check them out. They're co-written by Jessica Clare and Jen Frederick. So that's those ones. So now let's get to like the regular stuff that I read normally. So these are all of the Remnants novels that I've read in this time period. Books 3 through 10. There's I think 4 more left in the series. So we'll just look at those real quick. We have them. Nowhere Land, Mutation, Breakdown, Isolation, Mother May I, oh, No Place Like Home, and Lost and Found. So these are all, if you don't remember, kind of like the apocalypse happened, the end of the world happened, and now the last remnants of Earth are on a spaceship fighting aliens and trying to survive. They're fun little kids' books. I've read them before, and as I'm rereading them, I can see why I liked them as a kid, like in grade school, middle school, but I don't quite hold up quite as much now that I'm an adult. But if you have kids who like reading or you want to get them into reading, this might be a fun little series for them to check out. It's by Katherine Applegate. So I would say I would give those, like the series as a whole, maybe like a 7 out of 10. Some of the books are better than others. They're super quick reads. Most of them are under 200 pages because, as you can tell, they're for more kids. So I did finish the Cooper Kid Adventures by Frank Perretti. They are the grade school Christian fiction book series. So we have Legend of Anne Murphy and Mayday at 2,000 Feet. So we see siblings, Jay and Layla, kind of going around the world with their archaeologist father, kind of finding like the biblical side of archaeology and stuff like that. These are really fun. I really like this author. I'm going to soon be getting into some of his more adult novels, and I'm really looking forward to rereading some of those and reading some new ones because I haven't read all of his stuff, just some of them. So I would give this series as a whole like an 8 out of 10 and say you should definitely check them out. I think this one, The Legend of Anne Murphy, was one of my favorites in the series actually, and I'd say it's like a 9 out of 10. You should definitely start at the beginning. I mean, technically they're their own little stories in each book, but you should just check them all out if you got kids. Um, they're just definitely fun little books, and like the other ones, super easy to read. So I also I guess I started reading this one. We have The Carter House Girls by Melody Carlson. I did read 6 of them in this time period. We have Mixed Bags, Stealing Bradford, Homecoming Queen, Viva Vermont, Lost in Las Vegas, and New York Debut. So Melody Carlson is also a Christian fiction writer. She's the one who wrote the Diary of a Teenage Girl series that I've done previously on the channel. I have not read these before, so this is the first time I read these. And it essentially follows a group of girls who kind of move in with she's a former model. She's one of the girls' grandmother, and she's kind of trying to get them into modeling while they're going to high school and all of that. There's some more like, not necessarily adult themes, but things that maybe high school girls would have to deal with, like bullying, drinking, drugs, that sort of thing. So they're, as Christian fiction, you do get that mixed in there, along with some of those more like high schoolish type themes as well. They're, I would say as a whole so far, I would give the series like a 7 out of 10. And as a whole, I think I might like them a little bit better than the Diary of a Teenage Girl series. So that one was just, as I read it for a second time, was just more cheesy than I remember. These ones kind of aren't that. That being said, I think Robin Jones Gunn is still my favorite young adult Christian fiction author. But I would say if you have teenage girls, this might be a good series for them to read. So that's that. And I have also, as I've done previously on the channel, have started reading all of the Tami Hoag books that I have. And the ones I've done previously have been like her little romance novels. So now we're getting more into the mystery ones. So these two are related. So we have Night Sins and Guilty as Sin. This is actually the first Tami Hoag book I ever read. Loved it. I'd say definitely read it. It's 8 out of 10. This one I'd say 7 out of 10. It takes place just after this one. Although there's different main characters in this one. But I would say definitely go read these. So the previous ones I read that were mystery ones, I kind of had an issue liking the main characters as a couple just because they're supposed to like get together, but it's just hard to like them. But these ones don't have quite as much of that. This one is a little bit, but like because I remember loving it before, I think I kind of like gave that aspect at the front a pass. And then I read these two, which are also related. We have Dark Horse and The Alibi Man. Now, these ones have the same main characters. It's just this is the first one, and then this is the second one. You do have to read this one first, just because it will spoil a lot of the stuff going on. Not necessarily the mystery and solving the murder, but a lot of the character development towards the plot and stuff like that if you read this one first. So definitely check out this one first. She's essentially about a former undercover police officer who gets kind of sucked in to helping this young girl help find her missing sister. And she's like dealing with the cops who don't necessarily like her because of why she's no longer a cop, but I won't spoil that. But it's actually really good. I really like these books. I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. This one maybe a 7.5 out of 10 and say definitely check these ones out. Okay, so let's keep going. Alright, so we have books 3 and 4 of the Anne of Green Gables series. We have Anne of the Island and Anne of Windy Poplars. So I had read the first 2 before, and now I just decided I wanted to like go back and read all of them. So I started reading these, and they're actually really good. I think they're normally marketed towards like teen girls, younger girls, but I think as an adult, they're definitely fun reads, and I quite enjoy them. Anne is, you know, an interesting character, um, but let's be honest, Gilbert is the best. He really is. Um, and there's times in some of these books when I've been reading them where I feel like Anne does not deserve him. But as it is, Anne has to end up with him. Because if not, I think it would turn everybody into an uproar. But I mean, obviously, they've been around for quite a while, so you probably know what happens in them. So we just see her going to college, becoming a teacher, and all of that in these two books. And I would say definitely check them out. Whether you're an adult, have kids, teenagers, they're fun for everybody. Um, I also have these little guys. Share them with you. This Anne and Gilbert, little bookmarks, magnetic bookmarks. They the shop on Etsy. I will go ahead and put the link to her shop down below. The name is Clemmy Bees. You can see down there at the bottom. But I'll put the Etsy shop on there for you. She makes the best bookmarks. I have lots of Shadowhunter ones and Sarah J. Maas ones and a bunch of others too. But let's keep going. I read the first two books in this series. It's Diary of a Teenage Stud. These came out when I was still in high school, so that will date them a bit for you. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know that it was a while ago. So I'm rereading them, but honestly, as I'm reading them, so much of it I forgot because it was like been quite a while. They're still fun. They're still entertaining. Like you can tell how dated they are just by like the content in them and like stuff that was popular culture then as opposed to now. It's the first one. And the second one, there's two more in the series, and I've got those set to be read in the near future, so I'll let you know how those go. I'd probably give them a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and say if you've got like high schoolers or that kind of thing, they might be able to find to read. They're written in journal form by the main character, Jonah Black, who in the first book is expelled from his private school and has to go back to the public school. He was out before, and now he's repeating the 11th grade instead of being a senior. So go maybe check those out. They might be harder to find just because they are a little bit older. I don't know if libraries have them, but you could see if they're on Amazon. I've just had them since I was in high school. So I read some more of the Daughters of the Moon series. We have The Sacrifice and The Lost One. So this series, it follows a group of girls who are like essentially descended from a goddess who are trying to stop the evil, well, just basically evil, from taking over the world. So this series is also one that originally came out when I was in high school. So they're honestly even more dated than the Black Book ones, and I feel like that's just because I think it plays a little too much on the culture and it's like in Los Angeles and some of the characters are like ex-gangsters and stuff like that. Not to say that they're bad. They're fun. They're entertaining. If you have kids in high school, I'd say maybe they could check them out. But they might not necessarily be something I'd say go and check out if you're already an adult. But if you got kids, they're fun enough to get them into reading. And then I read some more of the Making Waves series by Katherine Applegate, which, if you remember, is also the author of the Remnants series. But these are her more young adult / adultish series. We have Book 5 Heat and Heat Wave. The names are so similar because this is an old, like the original version, and this is more of an updated version. The originals came out in the 90s. These ones came out when I was like just out of high school, like the newer versions. So they updated the names, but they didn't get past book 5 on the new stuff. So we have similar names. This one I think was supposed to be titled Attitude, but I don't think it ever got printed. But if you look in here, it tells you what all of them were supposed to be called. So I think this one was Secret. This one was supposed to be Secret, but it never got printed, so we just have one of the older books. Actually, the cover just came off, and I had to, like, tape it back on. I don't think you can see it, but, like, it literally came off because I purchased it used. Anyway, that being said, it's basically about a group of teenagers, college students, who go to kind of like a beach resort town during the summer, and, you know, there's romance and intrigue and lots of drama, like excessive drama, like the kind of drama you had back in, like, the 90s and 2000s that you don't necessarily get today. If you have teenagers, preferably teenage girls, they might like these books. The first one in the city is either Ocean City, which is the original name of it, or Making Waves, which is the new version of it. Okay, so we're getting close to the end now. So I read another Doom book. This one is Infernal Sky. It's the second to last one in the first series. There's like another series as well that has different characters. This one I liked better than the second one. If you haven't watched the videos, then you know the second one, I think, so far has been my least favorite. This one is much better. And if you did watch that video, I said I didn't particularly like Albert's character all that much. I like him much better in this one. So we see them trying to, you know, finally stop the aliens, or what they think were demons, or whatever you want to call them. And they go into space to try to stop them and destroy them from the start. Or not from the start. I don't even know what I'm saying. But, yeah. So, this one's actually pretty good. It's by the same author. I'm not even going to try to butcher that name. I'll put it on the screen for you. But I would give this one probably a 7 out of 10 and say definitely start with the first one. The first one was really good. The second one was just okay, but you kind of have to read it because it bridges the two books. So go check out Doom. And then we have the final book in the Todd Hunter Moon series, which is a sequel series to the Septimus Heap series, which is kind of like a bit of a fantasy. There's magic and dragons and lots of other stuff. And it just follows Alice Todd Hunter, otherwise known as Todd, as she is the apprentice to the extraordinary wizard Septimus Heap, who is the lead character of the original series. I'd give this series, in this book, maybe a 7 out of 10. If you've got kids in grade school or high school, I'd say definitely go check them out. Although, I would say maybe start with the Septimus Heap series, just because there are some things in here that'll make more sense if you read those first. You don't have to, but it kind of introduces you to the world that they're in, because they might not necessarily explain things as much in this one, because they think people are probably coming from the other one. Alright, so we have Dead of Night, Jonathan Maberry. This is the same author who does the Joe Ledger books, which you know I love. This one, I would give a 6 out of 10. It's not as good as Joe Ledger. It's still entertaining enough, and you should definitely check it out. It's zombies, and I mean, it's Jonathan Maberry, and I love Jonathan Maberry, so I'll read anything of his, although I've gotten to a point where I'm kind of over zombie novels. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. We'll see. So definitely go check that out. So I just realized at this point in making this video that I didn't have my microphone plugged in. I'm hoping I'm close enough to the camera that you've heard really well, but if the sound fluctuates and it's hard to hear and stuff, sorry about that. I will do what I can in editing to make that hopefully not noticeable. I have it on now, so going forward, the last like few minutes, because we're almost done at this point. So we have Gingerbread. I don't have the cover. It's somewhere in my apartment. Who knows where, though. It's Gingerbread by Rachel Cohon. Sorry, I don't have a cover to show you. But this, I remember reading it in high school, and I loved it. But it's not quite as good as I remember it to be. I would say, when I was in high school, I would have given it an 8 out of 10. I think now I would probably give it like a 6 out of 10. If you have kids in high school, they'd probably enjoy it, and I'd say maybe have them check it out. But maybe as an adult, give it a pass, but I love this author, and there's a few more books in this series that I'm looking forward to reading. Hopefully those might be a little better than what I remember of this one. So, a nice little surprise. I have this middle grade book. It's called House of Dark Shadows, and it is by Roberts Liparulo. I probably just butchered that. But this was really good. It's a horror novel about not necessarily a haunted house, but a house that leads to kind of like other dimensions, and family moves in, a crazy thing happens, and someone goes missing at the end. I'm not going to give you more than that, but it's a series, and there's several more books, and I'm super, super excited to read it. I would give this book a 9 out of 10. Like, high praise, especially from something I've never read before. I saw it at Desert Industries, DI. Got it for $1, and it's amazing. I'm going to have to go read the rest of them. So definitely go check it out. Even if you're an adult and if you like horror, and then like I said, it's a grade school, so you might have, it's not going to be like anything crazy or like if you're reading adult books, but it's really good and really well written. And so I also started another series. This is Raven's Gate by Anthony Horowitz. He writes the Alex Rider series. And this is a different series. This one's got some more supernatural elements and stuff in it. This boy finds out that he's got some supernatural powers, and he is sent off to live with people instead of going to prison after doing something stupid. And they might not be the best people to be hanging out with. But I would give this book, say, 7 out of 10, and say if you've got kids in high school, they should check it out. And, yeah. So there's more books in that series, and I'm going to continue reading those. I'll let you know how they are and it progresses. And then we read Lifeblood. Is that what it is? Nope. I think that's the next book in this series. This one's Firstlife by Gena Showalter. I've read her before. I love her. This particular one, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I would say 5 or 6 out of 10. It's okay. I don't know. I felt like near the end I was just kind of trying to hurry up and finish it. If you like Gena Showalter, I'd say maybe check it out. It's a trilogy, so there's 2 more books in the series, and I'll of course continue reading them, and I'll see if maybe the second one's a little bit better. But it's such a I think such a big world. It kind of tries to jam it all in, even in like 400 or 500 pages. It's still jamming so much information in that I just was hard to kind of get into it and build on the characters and not just like the story itself. And I think that might have been part of why I didn't like it as much. But if you like Gena Showalter, maybe check it out. There are some other books of hers that are better. I'll post some up here. I always forget which side it's on. Anyway, you don't care. I'll post something up here about some of the stuff you should read of hers to maybe start with, and then if you like those, check this one out. So, this next book, let me preface by saying I'm not a fan of Twilight, but I really love reading essays written about popular culture and book series and things like that. And I have this Twilight and Philosophy book. There's a bunch of authors who wrote essays, philosophical essays regarding Twilight. So this was actually quite entertaining. I mean, some of it I was just like rolling my eyes like, yeah, okay, whatever. But while I would say I would never recommend Twilight to anybody because I do not like it at all, I won't get into that because I could go off on a tangent. But if you have read Twilight and you like Twilight, that's perfectly fine. You might want to check this out. It's an interesting read. It kind of goes into like philosophy, moral and ethics of like vampires and stuff like that within the Twilight series. I'd give this book an 8 out of 10 and say check it out, especially if you like, these kind of essays and things like that. I've read a bunch of them on other books, like series, TV shows, and things like that. I read one on Jurassic Park, like Jurassic Park and Philosophy, and that one was also amazing, as well as, a bunch of others. Psych, Doctor Who, The Walking Dead, Harry Potter. So there's lots of them out there in this series. It's the Blackwell Philosophy and Pop Culture series. And they have it almost on anything. I think the next one I'm going to read, it's The Expanse in Philosophy, and I am super excited to read that, because if you know, I love The Expanse. So, alright, looks like we got one more book. This is a novel, a fictionalized account of Jesus' life. It's by Walter Wagerin. Wagerin, I think that's how you pronounce that. It was okay. I would say 5 or 6 out of 10 and say maybe check it out if you're into these kind of books. I like books like this. I just wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of the writing itself and the way the story went sometimes, because obviously it's fictionalized and a lot of it is kind of made up and added in based on the stories in the Bible. So if you like these kind of books, I'd say maybe go check it out. But if you're just considering it, maybe give it a pass. I have a couple other books by this same author. We'll see if those are any better. So that's it. There was a lot. So I think what we can take away from this one is read Anne of Green Gables. Tami Hoag, check her out. And definitely, most definitely, if you need some airport trash novels, some trashy romance, go check these out. But of course, start here with The Last Hit. So that's it for this video. And next week we'll do something much shorter, because we won't have like a month's worth of books to talk about. Honestly, there were more things I did read, like audiobooks and stuff like that. Oh, which just reminded me, what you do need to read is this book right here. This is Raven's Revenge. It's the last book in the Blackthorn Key series. There's 6 of them, so you have to start with the first book, Blackthorn Key, same as the series title. It is one of my favorite series in recent history, which says a lot. The author, Kevin Sands, is amazing. I love this series. It's for like middle grade to young adult, but it's amazing. It's set in like the 1600s, and it follows an apothecary's assistant, Christopher, and his best friend, Thomas, who is a baker's assistant, or his father's a baker. But it's so great. They solve mysteries and murders, and it's so much fun. And it's great. This book, as the series ends, was so good. I loved it, and I was so shocked at who the Raven was. Like, you have to read it. I won't give any sorts of spoilers, but 100% anybody watching this needs to read this book, except maybe my brother. He's lame and he won't like it. But anybody else, if you're not my brother, go read this book. Okay, that's it. Until next time, let's get reading.